Yeah, so we're going to be using OpenVas. It is a vulnerability scanner. OpenVas is actually free to use. I mean, most of them are free to use. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them are free to use. Um, OpenVas is just easy to download and start using right away compared to the others, right? Nessus is free to use too. I think you get like 30-day free trial. I prefer Nessus over OpenVas. I'm always gonna be biased with Tenable, but that's just me. But OpenVas is dope, man. It's a dope resource. It's a dope tool. The concepts, the processes, they're still the same, right? Doing the scan, running through the scan, documenting the reports, being able to decipher or prioritize vulnerabilities over others, that process doesn't change from the tool, right? You still need to understand that concept and those procedures. So we got some more people jumping in. What's up, y'all? See Cedric, Pete, Jared.
Sure.
Let me know if y'all have any questions from class, y'all. Let me know. All right, I was telling Dami that we are done with our slide decks pretty early. Let me go ahead and let the world know we're on Cyber Thursday. Let's see. I gotta find one of Telvin's cool graphics. Hey, people on YouTube, if you need a nice digital engineer, if you need somebody to help you develop your website, if you've seen any of our social media graphics, if you've seen our website, right, that's the same quality, same effort, give it the same love, I would definitely look up 719 Digital on Instagram. You might go by the name of We Design 2, TOO2. Definitely check him out, man. He's dope. He does all of our stuff.
Can you repeat that information?
Sorry, somebody was calling me to see if we were still doing Cyber Thursday. What I was saying, let me actually get his real Instagram name. I don't want to give you the wrong thing. And then, all right. So I was saying, if you need somebody to help you with your websites, if you need some social media graphics, I don't know, some people may be entrepreneurs, you may have your own small businesses going on, you may have other things that you're into. If you need help with your digital content, if you need help with your website, some posts to help promote whatever you're doing, check out We Design 2. This is an N as in November, right? Check him out on Instagram. He did our website. It's dope. He does all of our content, every single last thing. He will always do all of our content. He's one of the best in the game. I can't stress it enough, y'all. Get with him now. Somebody's mic is really, somebody's like making love to their mic right now. All right, I gotta mute that. But definitely hit him up. Definitely hit him up. All right, I was trying to tell the world we were on Cyber Thursday before. Okay. Telling that nice shout out. Here we go. Right, even this post I'm about to post right now, he made it. All right. Man, we got almost a full class in here. Hey, Dom, you can start getting set up. I'll let you take the screen in a second. Let me finish doing this.
They tell.
I don't think he's in here right now. He usually is with us on Cyber Thursdays. Man, yikes, yeah. And usually in each class, there's like a hidden gem, like a student with a crazy skill set that needs to be tapped into. And in this class, Telvin is one of them. In the last class, we had a recruiter. And you can imagine, just imagine how beneficial he was to his class. A recruiter, a cybersecurity recruiter, by the way. It's crazy. All right. So y'all, what we're going to be doing today, I kind of brought it up a little bit. I'm going to say it again, redundancy, no pun intended, even though that's what we've been talking about. But today, Dami is going to run through a vulnerability lab for us. Okay, we're going to see, some things that vulnerability analysts may do on a day-to-day basis, setting up scans, credential scans, unauthenticated scans. And I think we may have enough time to go into the reporting as well. So without any, let me get this off the screen. Pass it to Dami. And y'all, class, if y'all ever want to run a Cyber Thursday like Dami does it, like don't be afraid to just step up, right? I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'm gonna guide you through it. But it's 10 times more beneficial for you to run the lab, for you to be the driver, be in the driver's seat, and just get muscle memory, get used to it, to the commands, to the typing. Like everything helps. Practice really does make perfect here. So Dami, go ahead, take the show, man. Do your thing. I'm here as always.
All right, bet. So like Toby was saying, we're about to be setting up a vulnerability scan using OpenVas. And we're going to be using credentials for the scan. So we're going to be, setting it up, we're going to use it, and we're going to get familiar with the different scans that it could create. All right. So now we're about to go into our Kali machine. All right, so we're going to go to our terminal, and then we're going to start OpenVas by typing this in right here. All right, it takes a few minutes to run, but what's essentially going to happen is, I guess, actually, yeah, Toby, why did we have to use it through terminal to open OpenVas up? Because even though it was just going to bring up the Firefox browser anyways, why do we have to use terminal to open it up?
So you got to start this. So, and this is the good question, man. Oh, snap. Somebody's in the lobby. 1 second. So OpenVas is an application, right? Just like any other application, you have to start it first, right? First, you have to download it, of course. Then you may switch up the configuration file so it behaves the way you want it to behave. But then if you want to use it, like if you were to go to that browser or that web address right here, without starting it, it wouldn't work. You would get a denial. It would give you a 404 error. So what you just did was start the actual service so that the application can see it's starting right now. It's opening up I'm over here pointing like I don't have my pen. Well, but this web application is now started up now, but it won't, if you didn't start the service, and try it again on your own time, try to go to this, your local host on that port 9392 without the service being started, it won't work. Just like if we had a web application or a database application or Splunk, right? That's a SIM tool, it's an application. If you don't start it before you try to interact with it from the GUI or the web interface, like we are now, this is the GUI, this is the web interface. If you don't start these applications first, they won't be running. You won't have anything to interact with. Good question, man. Love it.
All right. So now this finally came up. We can see our local host right here, and then the port that it runs on 9392, as Toby said earlier. So now we're just gonna put in our username, which is gonna be admin, and then password is password. All right, cool. So here is the OpenVas dashboard, and it's what we see when we first open up a scanner. And there's usually more stuff on the dashboard, but because we haven't ran any scan, it's sort of blank right now. So now we're gonna set up our scan by going to the configuration tab, which is right here. And then we're gonna click on credentials.
Y'all see this layout right here?
What are you talking about, the dashboard?
All this, y'all, like
Oh,
this tab, this tab, this tab, this tab, this tab, this, right? Every vulnerability scan is gonna have something similar to this. Nessus has assets, right? Your assets are the systems you're scanning. Okay, those are the servers. You can have them listed out by host names. You can have it listed out by operating system, by IP address. And then the scans, those are going to be the different scan jobs you create. Authenticated scans versus non-authenticated scans. Credential scans versus non-credential scans, right? Your dashboards, you're going to have access to thousands of different dashboards on any vulnerability scanner, right? Before we started, I told you Nessus is one of my favorite, but they're similar, right? They just have different layouts, okay? They have different names for their tabs and their buttons.
All right, so we're gonna proceed with the credential scan. But for those who don't know, the credential scan is basically, when we use a pair of credentials like a username or password to scan the system. And it's gonna give us, a lot more information than a non-credential scan because, we're logging into the machine before we actually get a scan. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do right now. I'm gonna click this. And so we're gonna enter the credentials, which is right here.
This is a credential scan, y'all. Remember, credential scans are always going to give you more information than a non-credential scan. Why? Because you're authenticating into the system to do the scan, right? A non-credential scan, that's going to give you a perspective from external individuals or an external threat, right? They're not supposed to have credentials, right? They shouldn't have credentials. So when you do non-credential scans, which you may be asking, why would we do non-credential scans if credentials give us more information? It's because we want to see what the threat actors see, okay? Credential scans are we see what we get more information, right? We can get information such as what patches are installed on the computer, what versions is your antivirus or the applications you have. Credential scans are always going to be better, but they are better, but they are a lot more intrusive. Okay, they're a lot more intrusive. My bad, Donnie.
So from like a pen tester's perspective, the non-credential will be like, basically what they, use most of the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're doing the black box, yeah, or black hat.
All right, so here we just set up our credentials. And so now we got a question here. What is the difference between a credentialed and a non-credentialed scan? We had just mentioned it like not too long ago. So yeah, right here. Non-credential scans provide less detail than credential scans. And then the second one is credential scan use dedicated accounts with audit or read-only privileges. All right, so now we move on. So now we're gonna configure our scan target. And this is just basically when we set up our targets. The targets are what we're scanning. And so we got the credential set up now. So, we select our targets by going to the configuration here and then selecting targets. Then we click on this blue thing right here for a new target. And then we're going to put in the information. and then the host name is going to be manual. So we got the name of our scan, and the targets we want to scan is 10.1.0.1 through 10.1.0.2. All right, and so we're also going to be using SMB. And SMB is the protocol that we use to share files within our local network.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
All right, so we just created that. Now we set up a schedule. All right, so configurations. We go down here to schedules. This blue star again. All right, so leave this alone, period. 1 day. And then the duration is 1 hour. So all we did here basically was just create a schedule for it. Is really all. It's pretty simple. All right.
Good job,
So
man.
you were saying something, Toby?
No, I said good job.
So now we're gonna configure the scan task. So all that is just basically putting everything that we've done so far, together. All right, so we're gonna go to scans, tasks, close this out. Blue star, new task. All right, so we got some information to put in.
And while you're putting this in, Bo, I just asked, if you don't mind me sharing, well, I just accidentally said my bad, bro. But he asked a dope question. He asked about what about the vulnerability feeds? Okay, some of you may not be aware of what vulnerability feeds are, but your vulnerability scanners, what are they doing? They're scanning for vulnerabilities. Okay, they're scanning to see if you have end of life systems. They're scanning to see if there's misconfigurations. They're scanning to see if there are weaknesses in your applications or on your network. Now, how do they know about these vulnerabilities? How are they able to detect these things? Well, that's because of vulnerability feeds, also known as plugins. Okay, your vulnerability scanners are constantly being updated with plugins and feeds from other agencies, other organizations that are tasked with pulling this information together, tasked with pulling these plugins together, these feeds together. And your vulnerability scans they're downloading these things. Okay, they can download them over HTTPS, they can download them over any type of protocol that your company configures. Okay, so the plugins are vulnerable, or the fleet, which however you want to call it, right? I'm used to Nessus, and on Nessus we call them plugins, but ultimately they are feeds. But the way you access them is going to be different. It may be under administration here. We could play around with that later, but you can also choose how frequently your vulnerability scanners get updated, right? How frequently do they download and pull these feeds? Obviously, the more or the higher the frequency, the better. The more up to date your scanners are going to be, the more up to date the plugins are going to be when you're scanning your systems. But the vulnerability feeds are located in here, right? You can actually go and see them. You can see what plugins or feeds that you have and the different types of vulnerabilities that your scanner can scan for. Hey, good question, man. Good question, Bo. I like that. Yes, sir. Hey, shout out to everybody on the YouTube channel right now. See y'all on there. What's up? If you have any questions, let us know. We'll do our best to answer it. My bad, Donnie.
No, we good, man. So yeah, basically all we did was just set the task. We put in the scan targets that we had already put in before, we told them the schedule and then the configurations, how we want it. We want it full and fast. So now we actually going to start it now. I'm going to click on this. We click on this. Yeah. And then we hit start. Take it on. Okay, right here.
Mhm.
All right. All right, so this might take a while though, because those scans take forever.
Yeah.
I think it should be under reporting, right?
What are you looking for?
Wasn't there supposed to be something at the bottom?
What are you looking for the report?
Yeah, I think yeah.
So let's try going to scans and reports. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All
There
right.
you go.
So yeah, it's at 1% right now. We got a long way to go.
So while this is running, let's play around with this for a second. Go to scans and let's go to results. Let's see what the results are going to show. See if we can force anything. All right, scroll down a little bit. Okay, scanning the same host. You can see the ports that it's scanned right there, 587.25. Hey, class, real quick. What's running on port 80? What protocol runs on port 80?
HTTP.
Yes, sir. HTTP. What if we wanted to secure that port?
443. HTTPS.
All right, and we're going to need certificates to do that. And what services run on port 143?
IMAP.
IMAP. What if we wanted to secure IMAP? What port are we going to use?
995.
Is it 995? Are we positive? Are we sure? Anybody disagree?
It's 993 or 995. It's one of the two though.
993, I think.
993. Okay. And we're going to need certificates if we want to secure that as well. Then you have 636, which is LDAP secure. Okay, but just different things that you can get from a vulnerability scan. Let's go back to let's refresh this page real quick. Let me see if we get anything gets popping. And you can always hit Control R to refresh. Nothing. You can see the vulnerabilities right here on the left-hand side though. Okay, you can see port 445, that's SMB. 139 is also SMB. And you can see that there are some SMB vulnerabilities that were detected. Okay, 135 is for RPC. Right, you can have a variety of different servers at the end of that port. But just take this in for a second, right? You see, and we'll see more once the scan finishes, if it finishes in a good amount of time. But you see, and this is just a high level overview. We can get really detailed once we click on it, but you see the vulnerability, the name of the vulnerability. Okay, this is how your typical scans are going to report it. They're going to show you the name. It's going to tell you the service that's vulnerable, the IP or the host, the time it was scanned, the ports, and the severity. Okay, and then sometimes they will rank them for you. Right, vulnerability scanners can rank the vulnerabilities for you. Qualitative analysis, y'all. It'll rank it as critical. It could rank it as high. It can rank it as medium. It can rank it as low. Let's see what the reports are doing. I think it might be done. I see some stuff being detected here. Let's click on the report. Yeah, on the date. Yeah, let's click on that. Let's go back. And then let's click on it's still running. Let's click on the task right here. Let me see what this gives us. Yeah. Yeah, it's still running. We can stay at results for now. We get more information on the results. Yeah, we're getting more, right? I see some yeah, we could just stay here. SMTP, well, I just told you, what port runs on, or what service runs on port 25?
SMTP.
Right, that's SMTP. And then you see 3389. What port runs on 3389?
RDP.
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 Yeah.
Good job. Right, it's detecting a lot more vulnerabilities. If you scroll up just a little bit, you can see, let's see this bar chart. Oh yeah, you can download it. Yeah, go ahead, download that and open it up and see what that looks like.
All right.
It's gonna do an XML, that's fine. You could just open it,
I'll just open it.
That's fine, that's fine. Okay, XML is not gonna be too pretty for everybody. But remember we were talking about XML injection, y'all. Right, this is an XML file. And this is how it's scripted. This isn't gonna be too pretty for everybody, so I'm gonna spare you all. Let's go back to that tab right there. Let's scroll up a little bit. I want to see if anything populates on this dashboard. Okay, you can see that nothing too much. Nothing too crazy. Let's see what the
Auto refresh.
say that one more time.
So you got to change to the auto refresh up top.
Oh yeah. Where's that filter at?
That top box.
Right
Couple
up the
of-
top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Refresh every 30 seconds. Thank you, sir. Let's go back to let's see if the main dashboard shows any new information first. Hey, remember when we first came here, we didn't get much. What's high? Let's click that. And don't click it yet. Don't click it yet. Yeah. So as a vulnerability analyst or as a SOC analyst, it really doesn't matter. One of the first things you're going to always analyze or typically analyze are these dashboards, right? You're going to have your go-to dashboard that just, you want things to pop right at you. And if I was a vulnerability analyst and I see one high, that's kind of alarming. Obviously, not for our situation here, but in a real scenario, I'm gonna ask myself, why do we have one high? All right, and this is how I'm gonna start my day. Right, I'm gonna start my day this way. I'm gonna drill down into it to figure out what this one high is, and it looks like it's populating more and more and more. And we don't have to drill down into it. Now let's go back to the scans. Let's see if it finished anything, the report, because I really want to see if they can give us a pretty HTML report or some type of Excel. Sheesh, crying out loud. What are you scanning? Click on the title again, on the date. Dang, man, what you, all right, this is something. We got something. All right. The reports can look a lot better than this. Usually you can alter your reports. You can pick what you want to show. You don't have to show all of these fields. You can say you just want to see the severity and the host and the vulnerability. Okay. And then you can also take actions here from the vulnerability scanner, which we're not going to do right now. But just look at all of these vulnerabilities, right? Look at, you have multiple Windows vulnerabilities. You have malware protection vulnerabilities. RCE, that's remote code execution. This vulnerability can be exploited by remote threats. Okay? They don't have to be physically, they don't have to have physical access to the system. So that, hence why this may be considered a high. Right? This is why it may be considered a high, because it's a remote code execution vulnerability. This may be something you try to go and mitigate first before any others. You can't, it's difficult to try and do the fire extinguisher on all the vulnerabilities in your environment. It's difficult. You have to prioritize them. You have to prioritize them based off of criticality, severity, or better yet, likelihood and impact. Oh, dang, I wonder where we heard that from. Right? But cool points, real quick, cool points. And we'll wrap this up. You see how this is telling you that your severities are high, right? If you scroll down, you see other highs from 7.6, some mediums, and we have more, some SSL vulnerabilities, weak, oh man, weak TLS, weak SSL. I wonder what they mean. I wonder what they mean, guys. Uh-oh. Some weak algorithms are being used. But you see all these things, the way it's rating this is OpenVas doing the rating, right? OpenVas, the vulnerability scanner, is telling you that this is a high. This is OpenVas telling you that the vulnerability is a medium. This is OpenVas telling you the vulnerability is a low. Now, what if one of these vulnerabilities is mitigated by an antivirus? OpenVas doesn't know if you have antivirus on your system, right? It doesn't know that it can block that or mitigate that vulnerability. So you have to take that into consideration. Everything may not just jump out. It may not just be a high, right? OpenVas says it's a high, but you as the vulnerability analyst, you're going to probably have to work with the endpoint security team. You're going to have to work with the network security team. You may even have to work with the patch management team to ask them if they've already pushed out a patch, because this could be a false positive, right? It could be a false positive. There may be a patch already applied to this. OpenVas may say you're using an outdated version, but your patch management team already updated the application. Your endpoint security team already updated the application. Maybe the system wasn't restarted yet. When you update things, you have to restart your computer most of the time so it can refresh the registry and it can delete old files so the older versions aren't being detected anymore. Right? There's so much. Everybody thinks that vulnerability scans and vulnerability analysts, all they do is scan, 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 scan. There's so much that goes into it than just scanning, y'all. There's technicalities that go into this. There's qualitative analysis that goes into this. Okay, in order to do true qualitative analysis, you need to understand the lay of the ground. You need to know what security controls you have on the ground. You need to know what your patch management team is doing. Teams can't be siloed or they can't be isolated in order for you to effectively do your job as a vulnerability analyst. Okay, it's not just about scans. It's about the fundamentals too. All right, now I'm gonna stop rapping. Y'all, class, you have access to these labs, man. You have access to these labs. You have access to this lab. You can practice this for as long as you want. All right, you have access to it for like a year. Keep going over it. Keep muscle memory. Do the scans. Do other scans. You don't have to limit yourself to what the labs are doing. You can branch outside of all these instructions. Who cares? Right? Learn the tool. Get familiar with the tool. This is what people, or this is what employers are looking for. They're looking for people with these technical skills here. They're looking for people who understand qualitative assessment. They're looking for people who understand NIST. Right? That's a framework we use for risk and vulnerabilities. Okay, play around with this, have fun with it. If you have questions, hit me up on Discord. You know I'm there, I'm available. I'll respond as quickly as I can. Yo, Dami, thank you again for running this lab for us. Okay, we'll probably finish it up next time. It's taking a long time to run. YouTube, if you don't understand what we're talking about right now, if you don't get the gist of vulnerability scans, qualitative assessment, risk prioritization, I highly recommend you sign up for our next class starting June 28th. Okay, June 28th is a 10-week course, just like everybody else is in right now. All right, most of these folks are finished. Dami's finished, he's hired, he's employed. And I forgot to ask you about that, bro. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going, man. It's going. It's a lot though, but it's going.
That's what happens when you get paid the big bucks, man. It's a lot. But y'all, if you want to be like Dami, if you want to be like the rest of the students who are grasping these topics and actually applying it in the real world, I highly recommend you sign up for our next class, onlinesecurity.com. I'll put it in the bio or the description here. Bullet said, how do I get access to those labs? They look official, need that. Yeah, just hit me up. I'll show you how to get access to these labs. Make sure you get squared away. That's no biggie. YouTube, if you want access to the labs too, we are partners with CompTIA, so we can help you get access to them as well. But as I was saying, I highly recommend you sign up for our class. It's a 10-week course, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to 9:35 p.m. All right, you get study sessions like this, and we also have another study session on Friday that's exclusive just for the students. And the best part about the course is the career development part. Man. That's the best part because that's where we turn your skills into assets for employees. All right. Other than that, y'all, I'm gonna let you go. If you're free tomorrow at 6 p.m., join us on IG Live so you can hear students like Dami and others talk about how they got certified on their first time and employed. Right? Some of them with no experience at all. I mean, nothing. And they're working right now and having a blast. Other than that, y'all, if there are no other questions, y'all know what to do. Study class, study, 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 have fun. Hold on to your loved ones, give them a kiss, and please study, y'all. Don't forget to study. Thank you again, Donnie.
No problem. All right, guys. Good night. Good night, Toby.
Thank y'all.
Good night, good night, good night.